the Stafford Voice.
The Dakota Access pipeline path has been blocked, and I saw this in so many different places, and I saw this one just by chance over at Breitbart. I hardly visit Breitbart since they went completely pro-Trump. I mean, it seems like for every 4 or 5 posts about Trump this or Trump that, then they finally put something else out. But anyway, I'm not going to hold it against them. They can do that. I realize that they're kind of playing the game. Anyway, so the Dakota Access pipeline, we talked about this last week, and we'll kind of get into some of it here in just a second. But the United States Army Corps of Engineers is telling the Standing Rock Sioux tribe it will deny an easement for the current path of the Dakota Access Pipeline project. And this comes as a protest organized by a Black Lives Matter activist and an LA screenwriter, which was set to take place over 4 days, where thousands are already camped out. Now, tribal members are protesting, claiming the proposed pipeline could contaminate their drinking water and that it would disturb sacred burial sites, which just isn't entirely true. They're running this pipeline, 90-some feet below the Missouri River? Anyway, Joe Ellen Darcy, Army Assistant Secretary for Civil Works, says this: although we have had continuing discussion and exchanges of new information with the Standing Rock Sioux and Dakota Access, it's clear that there's more work to do. That was according to an NBC News report. The Sunday statement continued by saying the best way to complete that work responsibly and expeditiously is to explore alternate routes for the pipeline crossing. Now, Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Chairman Dave Archambault II stated, "Today, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers announced that it will not be granting the easement to cross Lake Oahe, I don't even know how you pronounce it, Lake Oahe, I think, for the proposed Dakota Access Pipeline. Instead, the Corps will be undertaking an environmental impact statement to look at possible alternative routes." I'm seeing over in the chats, John says, the media made the accusation that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers backed down. That's completely untrue. It was the White House that ordered the stand down, not the Corps of Engineers. You're very right with that, and I didn't clearly state that earlier. My apologies. Brian says he's skeptical of sacred grounds or drinking water being contaminated. Now, let me get into this, and this goes along with that. If you tuned in last week, we already know that they've tried to minimize the risk at every turn, and this included increasing pipe thickness and even putting control valves at both ends of the crossing. We also know that the Corps has consulted with, get this, 55 Native American tribes at least 389 times before, which came after they proposed 140 variations of the route to avoid culturally sensitive areas. Obviously, the time for Standing Rock leaders to voice their concerns should have been at those meetings, not now when it's almost completed. This thing is virtually 70-some% of the way being completed. I mean, this is like the virtual end to this whole thing. Let's see. John says the Corps said it wasn't Sioux sacred. It's only sacred to anti-development progressives. That's true. Okay. So let's see. North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple said the Obama administration's decision to block the pipeline is a serious mistake. His statement following the announcement, by way of the announcement that we're speaking of, is the announcement from the Obama administration to block the pipeline, reads, quote, "The decision today by the Obama administration to further postpone any action on the easement for the Dakota Access pipeline is a serious mistake. It does nothing to resolve the issue, and worst of all, it prolongs the serious problems faced by North Dakota law enforcement as they try to maintain public safety. The administration's lack of action also prolongs the dangerous situation of having protesters camping during the winter on U.S. Army Corps of Engineers property." Listen, we get it. I mean, you want to minimize the risk of anything. The last thing you really want to do is cause environmental concerns. Now, when you couple that with trying to be culturally sensitive, it makes it very difficult. However, the Corps, the Army Corps of Engineers, has worked on this for a year and a half. All of this was already okayed and cleared. There have been many times and opportunities for the Standing Rock leaders to come forward and voice their opinions and concerns about this entire issue. This is extremely unacceptable by the Obama administration. This just goes to show that the Obama administration is doing anything and everything they can to salvage what little they have left. Army John over in the YouTube chats says the follow the money. What are the forces hold up the pipeline really asking for? It's environmental extortion, pay to play. True. Also, I need to give a shout out to Jessica. Sorry, I missed your show. I realize you are on before me, but I was reviewing some notes, doing the final touches on the festive Christmas lights we've got going on, and I had to color in the Ninja Turtle. So we've got a great group of individuals in our chat. It's nice to see everybody. But again, I have to agree, always need to follow the money with a lot of this stuff. And as we know, one of the biggest financial backers behind groups like Black Lives Matter is none other than George Soros. And earlier, we've reported that one of the protests that actually sparked this, the Obama administration's call out to stop the progress on this, was organized by a Black Lives Matter activist. And we don't know who the LA screenwriter is, and quite frankly, who cares? LA is obviously liberal arts, not Los Angeles. I'm speaking tongue-in-cheek with that. But this entire thing is ridiculous. Now, Brian in the chat says he's got $1 that says the end of the money trail ends at Soros. You're probably true. The Obama trying to salvage its final days in office by way of John. John says the Obama trying to salvage its final days in office is nothing more than rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. True. Jessica says, I'm willing to bet Soros is paying the protesters. We know that, we know how many reports that have come out in the past that Soros was paying Black Lives Matter protesters. This entire thing is ridiculous. They're actually running this pipeline, this new pipeline, next to an existing pipeline. It is being ran by an existing pipeline. They're running this reinforced pipeline with valves at each end, 92, I think it was 92 feet below the Missouri River. Jessica, I'm going to end it with that. This whole thing smells like bad, rotten fish.